The hushed anticipation of a Viridian City high society wedding was a fragile thing, easily shattered. Elias Thorne, standing ramrod straight at the altar, felt its weight pressing down on him, a palpable force in the ornate grandeur of the St. Jude Basilica. Sunlight filtered through stained glass windows, painted streaks of sapphire and ruby across the polished marble floor, illuminating the anxious faces of the city's elite. He adjusted the cuff of his bespoke charcoal suit, his gaze fixed on the heavy oak doors at the far end of the aisle. Any moment now. A soft, almost imperceptible tremor ran through the assembled guests. A murmur, like dry leaves skittering across cobblestones, began to rise. Elias's heart, which had been beating a steady rhythm of hopeful nerves, faltered. He checked his watch. 20 minutes past the appointed time. The organist, who had been cycling through a repertoire of gentle preludes, began to repeat a particularly wistful piece. He saw his father, Robert Thorne, a man whose shoulders bore the invisible burdens of a struggling legacy, exchanging a worried glance with Eleanor, Elias's stepmother. Eleanor, a woman whose smile rarely reached her eyes, quickly plastered on a facade of concern, though Elias knew her true thoughts often revolved around Julian, her biological son. Julian, who was conspicuously absent, even for a best man. The murmur grew louder, tinged with curiosity and, worse, judgment. A Thorne wedding wasn't just a union, it was a strategic alignment, a public declaration of influence. The Thorne Group, once a titan of traditional manufacturing, had been teetering on the brink for years. This marriage to Seraphina Vance, the daughter of a prominent real estate mogul, was meant to be the linchpin of their resurgence. Its delay was a crack in their carefully constructed facade. A junior usher, his face pale and flustered, hurried towards the altar. He whispered something to the officiant, then turned to Robert Thorne, handing him a folded piece of stationery. Robert's brow furrowed as he read it, his complexion draining of color. Eleanor leaned in, snatching the note from his hand the moment he finished. Her eyes scanned the elegant script, and for a fleeting second, a triumphant, almost predatory glint flashed in them before she quickly contorted her features into a mask of shock. "Oh my God," she gasped, loud enough to cut through the church's nervous hum. "Seraphina, she's gone." The silence that followed was absolute, deafening. Elias felt a cold dread coil in his stomach. Gone? What did that mean? His mind raced, grasping for rational explanations. A last-minute panic attack? A car breakdown? But Eleanor's words, laced with an almost theatrical despair, suggested something far more sinister. His father, however, remained stoic, though his hand trembled as he reached for the note. He passed it to Elias, his eyes full of an unspeakable sorrow and shame. Elias's fingers closed around the thick paper. His name, elegant and flowing, was etched at the top. It was Seraphina's handwriting. His heart hammered against his ribs, a frantic drumbeat of impending doom. He unfolded it. "Elias, I'm so sorry, but I can't do this. Not with you. I need more than the promise of a future you might rebuild. Julian offers what I deserve, what I've always wanted, a life of immediate luxury, unburdened by past failures. He truly understands my ambitions. We've left Viridian City. Don't try to find us. Farewell. Seraphina." The words blurred before his eyes, but their meaning was brutally, unequivocally clear. Seraphina. Julian. His stepbrother. They had planned this. While he stood here, ready to commit his life, they had fled, leaving him abandoned, ridiculed, and utterly betrayed. A strangled sound escaped his throat, a half-sob, half-laugh of disbelief. The world tilted. The vibrant light from the stained glass seemed to mock him, highlighting his profound humiliation. He felt the weight of hundreds of eyes on him, their pity and contempt like physical blows. The whisper started again, this time louder, more confident. She ran off with Julian Thorne. Can you believe it? On their wedding day, the Thorne family is truly finished. Poor Elias, always in his stepbrother's shadow. He crushed the note in his fist, his knuckles white. The air grew thick with unspoken judgment. His father, seeing the brokenness in Elias's eyes, stepped forward, placing a comforting but equally defeated hand on his shoulder. "Son," Robert choked out, I'm so sorry." Eleanor, however, had already pivoted. "This is a disaster. A complete and utter disgrace. Elias, how could you let this happen? What did you do to drive her away?" "Julian would never." Her voice rose in a crescendo of feigned outrage, subtly shifting the blame, painting Elias as the cause of their shared misfortune. She played the part of the distraught stepmother beautifully, diverting attention from the undeniable fact that her own son was complicit in this public spectacle. Elias barely heard her. His mind was reeling, not just from the personal betrayal, but from the crushing implications for the Thorne Group. Seraphina's father, Richard Vance, a man of formidable influence and an even more formidable temper, had promised a substantial investment into the Thorne Group as part of the marriage agreement. Without the marriage, the deal was off. Worse, this public scandal would send the company's already fragile stock plummeting. Their reputation, their credit lines, their very existence, all hung by a thread, and Seraphina had just snapped it. He walked out of the church in a daze, the throng of guests parting like the Red Sea before him. He could feel their gazes burning into his back, hear the delighted gossip chasing him. He heard the click of cameras, saw the flashes. This humiliation would be splashed across every society page, every digital news outlet by sundown. The Thorne mansion, usually a beacon of old money elegance, felt like a tomb. Robert Thorne had retreated to his study, the weight of a shattered legacy crushing him. Eleanor, after orchestrating a hasty retreat from the basilica, was on the phone, her voice a low, urgent hiss, no doubt damage controlling for Julian, spinning a narrative of Seraphina's sudden, inexplicable attraction to her son, rather than Julian's calculated undermining of Elias. Elias found himself in the sprawling, seldom-used drawing room, the ancestral portraits on the walls staring down at him with silent reproach. He unbuttoned his waistcoat, the silk of his tie feeling like a noose. His vision was still blurred by unshed tears, but he refused to let them fall. Not now. Not when he had to figure out how to salvage something from this wreckage. The Thorne Group was his birthright, his responsibility. His father had pinned all his hopes on this marriage. Without it, the company faced imminent collapse. The creditors would circle like vultures. The family name, once synonymous with integrity, would be a byword for failure and scandal. He had lost his fiancée, his stepbrother, and now, potentially, everything else. A crisp, polite knock echoed through the room, startling him. He hadn't heard anyone approach. "Mr. Thorne," a voice, calm and measured, spoke from the doorway. Elias turned. Standing there was a woman he didn't recognize. She was petite, but carried herself with an air of quiet authority. Her eyes, a striking shade of hazel, were intelligent and direct, taking in his disheveled state with an unnerving lack of judgment. Her dark hair was pulled back in a sleek ponytail, and she wore a simple, elegant dark dress that somehow seemed out of place yet perfectly appropriate for the grim circumstances. Behind her, a towering, silver-haired man with an aura of immense power and sharp, knowing eyes stood silent, observing. Augustus Laurent, the patriarch of the Laurent Group. And the woman. Celeste Vivian Laurent, she introduced herself, her voice soft but firm, stepping fully into the room. "And this is my grandfather, Augustus Laurent." Elias merely nodded, still reeling. What could the Laurents, one of Viridian City's most powerful and respected families, possibly want with him now at his lowest point? Celeste didn't waste time with pleasantries or false pity. "We are aware of the situation, Mr. Thorne. It's regrettable for everyone involved." Her gaze was unwavering. "My grandfather and I have come with a proposal." Elias frowned. "A proposal? Miss Laurent, I'm afraid I'm not in a position to discuss anything." Augustus Laurent stepped forward, his voice a low rumble. "On the contrary, young man, you are precisely in a position to discuss everything. Or rather, nothing at all." He paused, letting the implication hang in the air. The Thorne Group is in a precarious state. Its reputation and, by extension, your father's legacy, are hanging by a thread. Celeste continued, picking up seamlessly, "My family has always held the Thorne name in high regard. We respect legacy, Mr. Thorne. And we recognize untapped potential when we see it. Despite today's unfortunate events, you possess both." Elias stared at them, bewildered. "What kind of proposal?" Celeste met his gaze, her expression unreadable. "My family is looking to expand into traditional manufacturing sectors to diversify our tech portfolio. Your family's expertise, if properly leveraged, could be valuable. Furthermore, the Laurent Group requires a new alliance, one that is not merely transactional, but built on mutual respect and shared ambition." She took a deliberate step closer. "Mr. Thorne, my grandfather and I are here to offer you an arranged marriage." To me, the words hung in the air, audacious and utterly surreal. Elias's mind, still raw from betrayal, struggled to process them. An arranged marriage? Now? To the heiress of the Laurent Group? It was unimaginable. A lifeline, yes, but one extended from the precipice of utter ruin. "This isn't about romance, Mr. Thorne," Celeste clarified, as if reading his thoughts. "It's about partnership. A strategic alliance to stabilize your family, provide new opportunities for mine, and restore your dignity. We need a husband for our heir, and you, despite everything, are a man of integrity and untapped potential who just had his entire life publicly shattered. A clean slate with immense benefits." Elias looked from Celeste's intelligent, serious face to Augustus Laurent's shrewd, expectant eyes. They weren't offering him charity. They were offering a pact, a high-stakes gamble with his future, his family's legacy, and perhaps his last chance at redemption. His heart, still aching, recognized the cold, hard pragmatism of the offer. It was a trade, his wounded pride for the survival of his family, his shattered personal life for an opportunity to rebuild everything. He thought of his father's broken face, Eleanor's cruel glee, Seraphina's chilling words. He thought of the Thorne Group, teetering on the edge. He had nothing left to lose but the last vestiges of his pride. And that, he realized, was a luxury he could no longer afford. "What are the terms?" Elias asked, his voice hoarse, meeting Celeste's unflinching gaze. The game had changed. His life, irrevocably, was about to follow suit. The roar of Viridian City's endless traffic was a distant hum, a stark contrast to the silence that had fallen over the Thorne mansion after the caterers had packed away their untouched feast. Elias, still in his unused tuxedo, had watched the last of his relatives leave, their averted gazes speaking volumes of the pity and scandal that now clung to his name. His father, a man aged beyond his years by a failing business and an overbearing second wife, had simply clapped him on the shoulder, a gesture devoid of true comfort. It was in this vacuum of despair that the offer had arrived, delivered by a man with the sharp eyes and impeccably tailored suit of a senior Laurent Group executive. A marriage proposal from Celeste Vivian Laurent, the cute heiress herself, a woman Elias had only ever seen in glossy magazine spreads and charity gala photos. A desperate lifeline, indeed, but one that came with conditions as heavy as the Laurent Group's formidable reputation. The next 48 hours were a blur of legal documents, PR consultations, and a dizzying immersion into a world of hyper-efficiency Elias had only ever observed from a distance. He found himself not in his familiar, slightly faded family home, but in a guest suite of the Laurent family's secondary estate, a sprawling modernist marvel nestled in the exclusive Silverwood Hills district. Every surface gleamed, every design choice spoke of considered elegance, a stark reminder of the chasm between his world and theirs. His first formal meeting with Celeste, away from the prying eyes of the media, occurred in a sun-drenched conservatory filled with exotic orchids. She arrived punctually, not with a retinue, but alone. Her presence was understated yet commanding, dressed in a tailored cream suit that highlighted her graceful figure. Her deep hazel eyes, framed by long lashes, met his with an unsettling directness that bypassed the pretense of social niceties. "Mr. Thorne," she began, her voice calm and clear, without a hint of the pity or condescension he'd come to expect. "Elias, thank you for accepting my proposal. Let's be clear, this is a strategic alliance. Elias, still slightly disoriented by the abrupt shift in his reality, nodded. Ms. Laurent. Celeste. I understand. My family's situation, it's dire. Your offer, it's unprecedented, but I assure you, I will uphold my end of this arrangement. He felt the familiar weight of his family's honor pressing on him. A faint, almost imperceptible smile touched her lips. I expect nothing less. You carry the Thorne name, a name that once commanded respect in this city. My grandfather believes it can again. And frankly, my position as a sole heir attracts undesirable suitors. A stable, respectable husband, even one acquired under unusual circumstances, is preferable to the alternatives. Her pragmatic honesty was disarming. Our public presentation must be impeccable. We are a united front. Privately, we will cultivate a partnership of mutual respect. There will be no undue expectations beyond what is necessary to maintain appearances and achieve our shared objectives. And those objectives? Elias asked, trying to gauge the depth of her ambition. Mine are to secure my family's legacy, expand the Laurent group, and avoid a marriage based purely on greed. Yours, I presume, are similar. To restore the Thorne legacy, recover your dignity, and rebuild your business. We are aligned. She paused, her gaze softening fractionally. I am not naive, Elias. I saw the headlines. I understand the pain of betrayal. But I also saw the strength in your silence, the resilience in your eyes. My grandfather, he saw it too. The mention of Augustus Laurent brought a new layer of complexity. The old patriarch of the Laurent group was a legend, a man who had built an empire from the ground up, known for his almost prophetic business sense and ruthless efficiency. To have him see potential in Elias, the publicly humiliated scapegoat, was both bewildering and deeply encouraging. The next day, Elias was summoned to Augustus Laurent's private study. The room was a library of leather-bound books and ancient maps, smelling faintly of pipe tobacco and aged paper. Augustus, a man whose face was a roadmap of shrewd intelligence and quiet authority, sat behind a colossal mahogany desk, his sharp, blue eyes piercing. Elias, Augustus said, his voice a low rumble. My granddaughter has made an unconventional choice. But Celeste has a good head on her shoulders, like her grandmother. She sees past the immediate scandal to the man underneath. I trust her judgment. He leaned forward, propping his chin on his clasped hands. You're a Thorne. Your father lost his way, but the bloodline is sound. You have potential, boy. Untapped, perhaps neglected, but potential nonetheless. I wouldn't waste my time otherwise. I am grateful for your trust, sir, Elias replied, a surge of renewed purpose invigorating him. I will not disappoint you or Celeste. Good. For now, you need to hold your head high. You're marrying into the Laurent family. The Thorne name, even at its lowest ebb, still carries weight, and we intend to restore it. Consider this not just a marriage, but an apprenticeship. You will learn the true nature of Viridian City's power games. I will guide you. Augustus's words were a balm to Elias's wounded pride, a blueprint for a future he hadn't dared to dream of mere days ago. The wedding itself was a spectacle, hastily arranged, but executed with the flawless precision characteristic of the Laurent group. It wasn't the grand affair Elias had once envisioned with Seraphina, but it was far more impactful. Held at the Laurent family's private chapel, nestled amidst manicured gardens, it was a surprisingly intimate ceremony attended by the cream of Viridian City society, all buzzing with thinly veiled curiosity. As Elias stood at the altar, the familiar weight of the moment threatened to overwhelm him. He took a deep breath, pushing away the phantom image of Seraphina, the bitter taste of betrayal. This was different. This was new. The chapel doors opened, and Celeste appeared, escorted by Augustus. She wore a gown of ivory silk, simple yet exquisitely tailored, flowing gracefully around her. Her hair was pulled back in a chic chignon, adorned with a delicate diamond comb. Her bouquet of white lilies seemed to glow. She didn't possess Seraphina's overt, dazzling beauty, but her elegance, intelligence, and quiet strength shone through, making her undeniably captivating. Her gaze, as it met Elias's, was steady, a silent promise of partnership. He offered her his arm, his hand brushing hers. Her skin was cool, firm. A strange sense of calm settled over him as they walked together towards the minister. This wasn't love, not yet, but it was something real, something solid. The vows were spoken, a contract made sacred by tradition. I, Elias Thorne, take thee, Celeste Vivian Laurent, to be my lawfully wedded wife. His voice, though a little rough, held conviction. He meant every word, not just as a legal obligation, but as a commitment to the new path he was forging. When he slipped the exquisite Laurent family ring onto her finger, a perfect diamond nestled between two sapphires, he felt a tangible shift, as if a heavy burden had been replaced by a lighter, more purposeful weight. The reception was a whirl of polite congratulations and covert scrutiny. Elias and Celeste moved through the opulent ballroom of the Laurent estate, a united front. Every smile, every shared glance, every touch was observed, analyzed, and filed away by the city's most influential gossipmongers. Elias found himself falling into a rhythm with Celeste, her subtle cues guiding him through the social minefield. At one point, as they stood by a panoramic window overlooking the city lights, Celeste leaned in, her voice low. Julian and Seraphina have undoubtedly seen the news by now. Let them watch. Let them drown in their champagne, imagining our downfall. Her words, delivered with a cool confidence, sent a shiver of satisfaction down Elias's spine. It wasn't about revenge, not truly, but about proving them wrong. Later, as the guests dwindled, Augustus Laurent raised a glass. To Elias and Celeste, he boomed, his voice carrying effortlessly. A union of two remarkable individuals, forging a new legacy. May their partnership be as prosperous and enduring as the city itself. His eyes, however, fixed on Elias, held a message that went beyond mere well wishes. The work begins now. Finally, the day drew to a close. Elias and Celeste arrived at their designated marital residence, a modern penthouse overlooking the entire Viridian skyline, a wedding gift from Augustus. The silence after the day's fanfare was profound, filled only by the soft hum of the city far below. They stood in the vast living room, the city lights twinkling behind them, two strangers bound by an extraordinary contract. Celeste turned to him, her face serene, yet a hint of fatigue in her eyes. It was a long day, Elias. We managed it well. We did, he agreed, the awkwardness of the situation beginning to settle in. Celeste, thank you. For this, for everything. She nodded. As I said, it's a strategic alliance. But strategy requires honesty. Our private lives will be exactly that, private. I respect your space, and I expect the same in return. There will be no pressure, no expectations beyond what we've agreed. We are partners first, husband and wife second, for the public eye. I understand, Elias said, appreciating her directness. And I assure you, I will do everything in my power to live up to my end of the bargain. To rebuild the Thorne name, to restore its honor, and to be a partner worthy of you. Celeste's eyes met his, a rare, genuine smile gracing her lips. I believe you will, Elias. Tomorrow, we begin. My grandfather has already set the wheels in motion regarding your family's assets. He expects you in his office at 9 sharp. Consider this your first step back into the game. Elias felt a surge of adrenaline, a forgotten fire igniting within him. The humiliation, the heartbreak, the despair, they were still there, faint echoes of a painful past. But standing opposite Celeste under the vast, indifferent sky of Viridian City, he realized something profound. His story wasn't over. It was just beginning, and this time, he wouldn't be standing alone. He looked out at the glittering expanse of the city, a concrete jungle of ambition and power. He was an outsider, a pawn in a game he barely understood. But he had a formidable ally, a wise mentor, and a burning desire to prove himself. The game was on. The scent of aged leather and antique wood filled Grandfather Augustus Laurent's study, a room that felt less like an office and more like a strategic command center. Bookshelves lined the walls, crammed with volumes ranging from classical philosophy to modern corporate law. A large mahogany desk, bearing the scars of countless battles fought with ink and paper, dominated the space. Elias, seated opposite Augustus, felt a tremor of anticipation, a feeling he hadn't experienced since before the wedding debacle. Celeste sat beside him, her presence a comforting anchor. She wore a tailored pantsuit that day, sleek and professional, yet her eyes held a soft warmth as she occasionally met his gaze. Augustus, a man whose silver hair and sharp eyes spoke of decades spent navigating the treacherous waters of Viridian City's elite, leaned back in his chair, a faint smile playing on his lips. "Elias, my boy," he began, his voice surprisingly gentle for a man of such renown. "Celeste tells me you've spent the last few days immersing yourself in the Thorne Group's financials. Impressive diligence, given the circumstances." Elias straightened. "The Thorne Group is my family's legacy, sir. It's floundering, yes, but it still has a pulse. And frankly, the circumstances only sharpen my resolve to see it thrive." Augustus nodded slowly, his gaze penetrating. "Good. Because a pulse isn't enough in this city. You need a roar. Now, tell me, what have you found?" Elias pulled out a tablet, his fingers steady. "The core issue is a lack of innovation and diversification. Thorne Group made its name in bespoke industrial components, high quality, reliable, but their market share has eroded due to cheaper, mass-produced alternatives. R&D spending is minimal, and we're reliant on a few aging contracts. The asset base is solid, but it's underutilized. And the debt. It's manageable, but stifling." He detailed his findings with a clarity that surprised even himself. Augustus listened, occasionally interjecting with a sharp question, probing the depths of Elias's understanding. Celeste watched Elias, a subtle flicker of admiration in her eyes. This wasn't the heartbroken groom from the altar. This was a man awakening. "You're right about the debt," Augustus finally stated. "It's a leash. But a leash can be cut, or it can be used to pull something new into place. You have a reputation for integrity, Elias. That's a rare commodity. And Thorne Group still has a good name in certain niche sectors. We can leverage that." He leaned forward, his tone shifting to one of strategic counsel. "Here's what we do. First, we restructure the debt, use the Laurent Group's backing to secure better terms, consolidate, buy you breathing room. Second, we identify an undervalued, synergistic acquisition. Something that aligns with Thorne Group's manufacturing capabilities, but offers a foothold in a growing market. Think smart infrastructure, green tech. You have the engineering talent, they just need a new direction." Elias absorbed every word, his mind racing. "A hostile takeover then?" Augustus chuckled. "Not necessarily hostile. Just decisive. We identify the target, you make them an offer they can't refuse, leveraging Laurent capital and Thorne's existing infrastructure. The goal isn't just to buy a company, Elias. It's to buy momentum, a new narrative, and a future." Over the next few weeks, Elias threw himself into the task. He worked tirelessly, poring over prospectuses, analyzing market trends, and meeting with Thorne Group's remaining loyal employees. Augustus became his silent mentor, a powerful shadow guiding his steps, connecting him with analysts and legal teams from the Laurent Group. Celeste, too, was an invaluable partner. Her insights into market psychology and her ability to cut through corporate jargon were remarkable. She often joined him for late-night strategy sessions, their easy banter and shared focus gradually eroding the remaining walls between them. One evening, after reviewing a particularly promising acquisition target, a mid-sized firm specializing in sustainable urban infrastructure components, Elias leaned back, exhaling. "This feels right. They're undervalued, but their tech is solid. And they have contracts that Thorne Group could scale immediately." Celeste smiled, a genuine, radiant smile that lit up the dimly lit office. "It's a perfect fit, Elias. Your diligence paid off. Grandfather will be pleased." She paused, her gaze softening. "You know, you're not the man everyone underestimated. Not anymore." A warmth spread through Elias's chest, separate from the satisfaction of business. It was the warmth of being seen, truly seen, by someone he was beginning to admire immensely. "And you're not just a cute heiress, Celeste. You're formidable." Their eyes met, holding for a beat longer than strictly professional, before Celeste cleared her throat. "Let's finalize this proposal. Tomorrow, you present this to the Thorne Group board. Show them the lion they overlooked. Meanwhile, in a sprawling penthouse apartment leased entirely on Julian Thorne's dwindling credit lines, the facade of newlywed bliss was rapidly cracking. Julian, what do you mean the card was declined again? Seraphina's voice, once dulcet and charming, now held a sharp edge of panic. She held a designer shopping bag, a half-purchased silk dress, still inside. Julian, sprawled on a plush sofa, scrolling idly through his phone, barely looked up. Relax, Sarah. Probably a temporary glitch. Dad's lawyers are still sorting out the settlement. The Thorne Group accounts are a mess, you know. Elias deliberately complicated things. Complicated things? Or was he just managing the family business while you were busy plotting to steal his fiancée and inheritance? Seraphina snapped, her perfectly manicured hand gesturing wildly. Her initial delight at being Mrs. Julian Thorne had curdled into a bitter cocktail of anxiety. The lavish life she'd envisioned was proving to be built on sand. Julian's easy wealth was proving to be a phantom. His attempts to invest the funds he'd siphoned off, aided by Eleanor's influence, had been nothing short of disastrous. His venture into a dubious cryptocurrency scheme had imploded, and his impulsive acquisition of a failing luxury car dealership had left him with mounting debt and a warehouse full of depreciating assets. Don't you dare compare me to that pathetic excuse for a brother. Julian snarled, finally sitting up, his face reddening. I'm taking what's rightfully mine. Dad promised me the world. And how's that working out? Seraphina retorted, her eyes flashing. The Laurents are backing Elias. Did you hear about the buzz? He's supposedly making moves, restructuring Thorne Group. He's already closed a deal that everyone said was impossible, a major acquisition in sustainable tech. My socialite friends are talking about it, Julian. Whispering about how your family is suddenly rising again, but it's Elias at the helm, not you. Julian scoffed. Please. Elias is just a puppet. The Laurents are throwing money at him to save face. He's probably just signing papers. He has no real business sense. But even as he spoke, a sliver of doubt, cold and sharp, pierced through his self-assured delusion. The reports he dismissed as idle gossip were growing louder. Elias, the man he'd so easily dismissed, was indeed making headlines. And not just as Celeste Laurent's husband, but as a surprisingly shrewd businessman. Suddenly, Julian's phone rang. It was his mother, Eleanor. He answered, a forced cheerfulness in his voice. Mom, any good news from the lawyers? He listened, his face slowly draining of color. Seraphina watched him, her own heart pounding. Whatever it wasn't good. What? A formal injunction? They're blocking access to which accounts? But that's Thorne Group's emergency reserve. How could Elias do that? Julian stammered, his voice rising in panic. He's claiming I misappropriated funds for personal ventures? That's outrageous. Mom, you have to fix this. He slammed the phone down, his chest heaving. That bastard. Elias is suing me, claiming I misused Thorne Group funds. He's trying to freeze my assets. Seraphina paled. Freeze your assets? Julian, if you don't have access to the Thorne Group money, then what do we have? The luxury condo, the designer clothes, the extravagant dinners. It all suddenly felt precarious, like a house of cards swaying in a hurricane. She thought of the ease and security Elias had promised, the genuine, if quiet, stability. And she thought of the fleeting, hollow triumph of eloping with Julian. A cold dread seeped into her bones. The Thorne Group boardroom was a blend of relief and disbelief. Elias had just concluded his presentation, detailing the strategic acquisition of Viridian Green Tech and the complete debt restructuring backed by the Laurent Group. The old guard, initially skeptical, now looked at him with dawning respect. This is truly remarkable, Elias, Mr. Davies, the longest-serving board member, finally said, his voice tinged with awe. We were facing insolvency within the year. You've not only pulled us back from the brink, but you've given us a viable path forward. Elias felt a surge of quiet satisfaction. He hadn't just survived, he was thriving. He hadn't just saved his family's name, he was rebuilding it stronger than ever. Beside him, Celeste gave him a subtle, approving nod, her eyes sparkling with shared victory. Later that evening, after the board meeting concluded with unanimous approval, Elias found himself in Celeste's office at the Laurent Tower, a glass of champagne in hand. The city lights twinkled outside, a tapestry of ambition and opportunity. To the Thorne Group's new future, Celeste said, clinking her glass against his. And to an incredibly successful first act, Elias. He smiled, a genuine, unburdened smile that reached his eyes. I couldn't have done it without you, Celeste. Or your grandfather. You had the vision and the drive, she countered softly. We just provided the roadmap and the resources. You're a natural, Elias. You just needed the right stage. Their gazes locked, and the unspoken weight of their partnership, their respect, and the burgeoning affection between them hung in the air. The arranged marriage, born of desperation, was becoming something profoundly more meaningful. He was no longer just the jilted groom, and she was no longer just the advantageous heiress. They were a team, forging a future together. Suddenly, Elias's phone buzzed. It was a news alert, flashing across the screen. Thorne's scion Julian Thorne faces legal woes. Allegations of misappropriated family funds surface amidst financial instability. He glanced at it, then back at Celeste, a flicker of something unreadable in his eyes. Looks like the show is just getting started, Celeste murmured, a hint of steel in her voice. The predator in Viridian City had underestimated their prey, and now the hunter was being hunted. Elias's path was clear, and Julian's was crumbling. And Seraphina, who had chosen the wrong brother, was only now beginning to grasp the magnitude of her mistake. Their regret was a slow, burning fire, and it had just been stoked.
The soft hum of jazz music mingled with the clinking of crystal glasses in the opulent private dining room, a stark contrast to the storm that had once raged through Elias Thorne's life. Across the gleaming mahogany table, Celeste Laurent met his gaze, a subtle smile gracing her lips as she raised her glass of vintage Bordeaux. To Thorne Logistics, she said, her voice a warm, melodious murmur that always seemed to soothe the frayed edges of Elias's nerves. Successfully acquiring the ever-bright freight network, a strategic masterstroke, Elias, impeccably dressed in a charcoal suit that spoke of understated power, felt a surge of pride, a feeling he hadn't truly known in years. He'd meticulously planned this acquisition for weeks, guided by Augustus Laurent's shrewd advice and Celeste's incisive market analysis. It wasn't just a business victory. It was a personal triumph. Thorne Logistics, a long-neglected branch of his family's struggling empire, was now poised to dominate Viridian City's increasingly complex supply chain. To our partnership, Celeste, Elias replied, his own glass chiming softly against hers. The clink resonated, not just through the quiet room, but deep within him. It was a sound of stability, of shared purpose, and something far more profound that bloomed between them with each passing day. He saw not just the sharp intellect of a CEO in training, but the warmth and genuine affection of the woman who had stood by him when his world had collapsed. Their conversation flowed easily. Discussions of market projections interspersed with lighter banter about a charity gala they'd attended the previous night, where Celeste's quiet elegance had captivated everyone. And Elias, standing beside her, had felt an undeniable sense of belonging. The public eye, once so mercilessly focused on his humiliation, now regarded him with a mix of respect and burgeoning admiration. He was no longer the jilted groom, but the rising star, the man who had turned ruin into triumph. With the formidable Laurent Group as his ally, over the past weeks, Elias had transformed. The passive, often overlooked heir had shed his skin. He led meetings with a newfound assertiveness, his voice firm and his decisions decisive. He no longer sought approval but commanded respect. He learned to navigate the treacherous currents of Viridian City's corporate ocean, not by brute force, but by strategic intelligence. a lesson Augustus had imparted with grandfatherly patience. Celeste, meanwhile, was his anchor and his compass. She saw the nuances he missed, anticipated market shifts, and pushed him to think bigger, bolder. Their working relationship seamlessly bled into their personal one, strengthening a bond that had started as a desperate arrangement. Grandfather Augustus was particularly impressed with your negotiation tactics during the Everbright deal, Celeste noted, her eyes sparkling. He said you handled old man Henderson like a seasoned predator. High praise, coming from him. Elias chuckled. A genuine, unburdened sound. He taught me well. And your insights into Everbright's proprietary tracking software were invaluable, Celeste. Without them, we wouldn't have seen the hidden value. He reached across the table, his fingers gently covering hers. Her skin was soft, warm, a small gesture, yet it spoke volumes of the burgeoning affection and trust between them. She didn't pull away. Instead, her thumb subtly stroked the back of his hand. Elias felt a quiet contentment settle over him. A sense of rightness that he hadn't known was possible after such profound betrayal. This was a partnership, a marriage, built on substance, not superficiality. Meanwhile, across town, the gilded cage Seraphina Vance had chosen was beginning to rust, its bars pressing ever tighter. Julian Thorne's penthouse, once a symbol of his lavish, unearned lifestyle, now felt suffocatingly opulent, its grandeur masking a growing desperation. Empty champagne bottles littered the kitchen counter, and the air was thick with the scent of stale liquor and simmering resentment. What do you mean? The deal fell through. Seraphina shrieked, her voice shrill, tearing through the uneasy silence. She clutched her designer handbag, her meticulously manicured nails digging into the soft leather. Her once radiant beauty was now marred by a perpetual frown, her eyes shadowed with anxiety. Julian slammed his phone down on the glass coffee table, the expensive device skittering dangerously. I mean exactly what I said. Sarah, Thorne Entertainment just pulled out of the merger. They cited irreconcilable financial discrepancies and a lack of viable leadership. He ran a hand through his perpetually messy hair, his face a mask of panicked rage. My mother promised me this. She promised I'd be set for life with this deal. Quote, Seraphina stared. Aghast. Thorne Entertainment was the last remaining profitable asset Julian had been handed by Eleanor, meant to be his launchpad into the elite. Without it, their financial future, which she had so meticulously planned, was crumbling. Her fantasy of a life of effortless luxury with Julian was rapidly dissolving into a nightmare of mounting debts and social ostracization. Just last week, a prestigious women's charity board had subtly, but firmly, rescinded her invitation. Her calls to her former socialite friends went unanswered, or met with curt excuses. The scandal of the runaway bride, once a titillating gossip item, had transformed into a stain on her reputation. Viridian's high society, with its ruthless memory, had silently decreed her persona non grata, and Julian's increasingly erratic behavior, fueled by his failing ventures, only solidified their pariah status. Irreconcilable financial discrepancies? Seraphina echoed, her voice trembling. Julian, you swore you handled everything. You said your investments were foolproof. Quote, Julian scoffed, pacing the lavish rug that now felt like a cage floor. Foolproof? Every single one of them has tanked. That tech startup I sank a fortune into? Bankrupt. The real estate development? Stalled. It's like the market itself is conspiring against me. Or like someone is deliberately sabotaging me. He narrowed his eyes, a familiar target coming to mind. It's Elias. It has to be that sniveling worm. He's probably pulling strings with that old Laurent bastard. Quote, Seraphina shuddered. a cold dread seeping into her bones. She recalled a brief, blurry glimpse of a newspaper headline earlier that day. Thorne logistics soars. Elias Thorne and Laurent Group secure mega merger. She dismissed it as an anomaly. Another brief flicker of luck for Elias before his inevitable collapse. But now, coupled with Julian's frantic panic, it painted a far more terrifying picture. The easy path to luxury she had chosen with Julian was a mirage. He wasn't the powerful, influential figure she'd imagined. He was a petulant child, propped up by his mother. And now, even Eleanor's considerable influence seemed powerless to stop their descent. Augustus Laurent, Elias's grandfather-in-law, was a titan in Viridian City, his reach far wider and deeper than Eleanor's. If he truly was subtly working against Julian. Suddenly, a notification pinged on Julian's ignored tablet, lying face down on the table. Seraphina's gaze snagged on the screen. A news alert banner scrolling across. Breaking news. Elias Thorne completes historic acquisition. Secures Thorne Holdings' future, expanding its reach into Asian markets. Praise for Thorne's vision and unwavering support from his brilliant wife, Celeste Laurent. The words hit Seraphina like a physical blow. Historic acquisition, secures future, expanding reach. And then, the image that accompanied the headline. Elias, standing tall, confident, a genuine smile on his face. Celeste by his side, her arm linked gracefully through his. They weren't just smiling for the cameras. Their eyes held a quiet understanding, a shared triumph that radiated from the screen. They looked genuinely happy, respected, formidable. Julian, consumed by his own fury, hadn't noticed the tablet. He was still ranting about conspiracies, about how unfair life was. But Seraphina couldn't hear him anymore. All she could see was Elias. The man she had publicly abandoned. The man she had mocked for his quiet demeanor. Now embodying everything she had ever truly wanted. Power, respect, and a genuine, loving partnership. Her breath hitched. She saw Elias's earnest eyes from their engagement. The quiet devotion he had offered her. She had dismissed it, foolishly believing Julian's superficial charm and empty promises were worth more. She saw the Laurent name, the vast wealth and influence she had so carelessly spurned. The gilded cage wasn't just rusting. It was collapsing around her, piece by agonizing piece. A bitter, acidic taste filled her mouth. Julian was shouting, "We're ruined, Sarah, ruined," but the words bounced off the numb shell that had formed around her heart. Seraphina stared at the triumphant image of Elias and Celeste, a silent, guttural scream rising in her throat. Her face, once beautiful and serene, crumpled, contorting into a mask of pure, unadulterated regret. What had she done?
The grand ballroom of the Laurent Tower glittered with the reflected lights of Viridian City, a testament to power, innovation, and unwavering success. Tonight wasn't just another corporate gala, it was a celebration of the newly forged alliance between the revitalized Thorne Group and a key subsidiary of the Laurent Group, effectively securing Elias Thorne's legacy and catapulting his family's enterprise to unprecedented heights. Elias, impeccably dressed in a custom-tailored obsidian suit, stood beside Celeste, her presence a luminous counterpoint to the city lights beyond the panoramic windows. She wore a midnight blue gown, shimmering like a constellation, its simple elegance accentuating her keen intelligence and quiet strength. The air hummed with effusive congratulations from industry titans, politicians, and socialites, all eager to rub shoulders with Viridian City's newest power couple. Just months ago, Elias had stood alone at an altar, stripped of his dignity. Tonight, he stood taller, more confident, his gaze no longer haunted but sharp, discerning. The whispers around them were no longer of scandal, but of admiration. Thorns turned it around. One magnate murmured, and with the Laurents backing him? Formidable. Another added that Celeste Laurent, she clearly saw something in him no one else did. Astute beyond her years. Celeste leaned closer, her hand subtly brushing his arm. You handled the press conference perfectly, Elias. Even grandfather was impressed. Her smile was genuine, warm, and the quiet pride in her eyes was a far more valuable currency than any flattery from the crowd. Elias met her gaze, a profound gratitude swelling within him. Only because I had you and grandfather guiding me, Celeste. And believing in me when I didn't even believe in myself. He remembered the early days, the endless meetings, the late nights poring over balance sheets, the ruthlessness required to dismantle outdated practices and build new, resilient foundations. He'd learned to negotiate with the bite of a seasoned shark, to anticipate betrayals, and to leverage opportunities with lightning speed. The passive, dutiful son was gone, replaced by a leader forged in fire. Augustus Laurent, a venerable figure whose very presence commanded respect, joined them, a rare approving glint in his eyes. Elias, my boy, you've not merely salvaged the Thorne name, you've redefined it. The Thorne Laurent Synergy Group is poised to become a dominant force in the smart infrastructure sector. Your vision for integrating sustainable tech with urban development is truly groundbreaking. Thank you, grandfather, Elias said, a genuine warmth in his voice. Your mentorship has been invaluable. And Celeste's strategic insight was the cornerstone of this whole operation. Celeste simply smiled, her hand slipping into Elias's. Their partnership, initially born of necessity, had blossomed into something profound. It was built on shared ambitions, unwavering trust, and an affection that grew stronger with each challenge they overcame together. They understood each other's silences, celebrated each other's triumphs, and found comfort in each other's presence. Elias had discovered that true power wasn't about dominating others, but about building genuine connections and partnerships. Later, as the gala wound down and they stood on their private balcony overlooking the glittering cityscape, Elias wrapped an arm around Celeste, pulling her close. It feels surreal, he confessed, gazing at the sprawling metropolis. A few months ago, I was ready to give up everything. Now, Celeste rested her head on his shoulder. Now, you've earned everything, Elias. Not just the company, but your own confidence, your own voice. You are the man I knew you could be, the man you always were, just waiting for the right moment to emerge. She turned, her eyes reflecting the city lights. What do you want, Elias? Truly? He looked into her eyes, seeing not just his wife, but his anchor, his partner, his dearest friend. I want a future with you, Celeste. One built on honesty, respect, and mutual dreams. I want to continue building something meaningful, something that truly contributes to this city, to the world. And I want to do it all with you by my side. He leaned down, pressing a soft kiss to her temple. You gave me back my dignity, Celeste. You gave me so much more. Meanwhile, in a desolate, poorly lit apartment on the fringes of Viridian City, Seraphina Vance stared blankly at the flickering screen of a cheap, second-hand tablet. The digital headline screamed, Thorne Laurent Synergy Group secures multi-billion-dollar Viridian City revitalization contract. Elias Thorne, visionary CEO. The image accompanying the article showed Elias and Celeste, radiant, confident, surrounded by adoring crowds and flashing cameras. Elias's smile, once reserved and almost shy, now held a powerful, self-assured gleam. Celeste's hand rested casually on his arm, a picture of effortless elegance and shared triumph. Seraphina's lips trembled. Her own hands, once manicured and adorned with expensive jewelry, were now chapped and calloused from the endless, fruitless job applications and the meager, humiliating shifts she sometimes picked up. The apartment reeked of stale ramen and desperation. Dust motes danced in the single beam of light slicing through the grimy window. Look at him, Julian Thorne slurred from the tattered armchair, a half-empty bottle of cheap liquor clutched in his hand. His once impeccably styled hair was lank, his designer clothes replaced by stained, ill-fitting garments. His face was puffy, his eyes bloodshot, devoid of their former arrogant sparkle. That bastard! It should have been me. That's my family name he's parading around. Seraphina didn't respond. She couldn't. The envy, the bitterness, the sheer, crushing weight of regret was a physical ache in her chest. She remembered Elias, standing at the altar, his face a mask of heartbreak. She had laughed then, had felt a thrill of superiority, believing she'd chosen the winning side. Julian had promised her the world, luxury, status, an effortless life. Instead, he'd delivered ruin. Their initial flight, fueled by Julian's stolen funds and Eleanor's desperate attempts to shield her son, had quickly turned into a nightmare. Julian's business acumen was a fiction. His investments were disastrous, his gambling addiction spiraled out of control, and Eleanor's own schemes had collapsed spectacularly under the Laurent group's quiet but relentless counter-pressure. With Elias's rise, the remaining Thorne family assets were now secured under the new Thorne Laurent umbrella, leaving Julian and Eleanor utterly disinherited and facing a mountain of personal debts. Their friends vanished overnight. The social circles that had once courted Seraphina now pointedly ignored her. Julian's name became synonymous with scandal and incompetence. Eleanor, stripped of her influence and assets, was forced to sell off her estate, a broken woman whose every maneuver had backfired, leading directly to her son's, and her own, complete destitution. She was now living in a small, rented room, her pride shattered, occasionally calling Julian to verbally abuse him, which only fueled his self-pity and hatred. "He's laughing at us," Julian mumbled, his voice thick with venom. "He always wanted to see me fail." "He's not laughing," Seraphina finally said, her voice hollow. "He's forgotten we even exist." The words were a bitter pill. Elias, the man she'd so cruelly abandoned, had risen from the ashes like a phoenix. He hadn't bothered with petty revenge. He'd simply built an empire so grand that their pathetic lives were utterly irrelevant. She looked at Julian, truly looked at him, the bloated face, the vacant eyes, the self-pitying whine. This was what she had chosen. This broken, worthless man, instead of the kind, honorable, and now undeniably powerful man she had spurned. Elias had offered genuine partnership, a steady ascent, a future built on mutual respect. Julian had offered a fantasy built on quicksand. The tears finally came, hot and stinging, blurring the triumphant image of Elias and Celeste on the tablet. She hadn't just lost wealth, she'd lost her future, her reputation, and her very sense of worth. She had chosen greed, and it had consumed her. The regret was a cold, sharp knife twisting in her gut. She had traded a diamond for a piece of broken glass, and now that glass was cutting her to shreds. Julian, seeing her tears, suddenly slammed his fist on the armrest. "Stop crying, you idiot. It's your fault. You pushed me to take risks. You wanted the money." Seraphina didn't even have the energy to argue. He was right, in a way. They had both been greedy, both complicit in their own downfall. But seeing Elias and Celeste, their eyes filled with a shared understanding and affection that went far beyond mere status, she realized the true depth of her mistake. She hadn't just lost a wealthy husband, she had lost a partner, a man who would have truly valued her, nurtured her, and built a genuine life with her. She closed her eyes, the image of Elias's triumphant, happy face seared into her mind. The regret wouldn't just begin now, it would haunt her for the rest of her days. Days later, Elias sat in his new corner office in the Thorne Laurent Tower, the city sprawling beneath him. He was reviewing projections for their next major venture, expanding their sustainable infrastructure model globally. The challenges were immense, but he felt an exhilarating sense of purpose, not fear. Celeste walked in, a subtle smile playing on her lips. She placed a cup of his favorite tea on his desk. "Grandfather just called." The board approved the preliminary budget for Project Zenith. Elias looked up, his face breaking into a warm smile. "Excellent. The potential for impact is enormous." He gestured to the city outside. "We can do so much more, Celeste. Not just for profit, but to truly improve lives." She nodded, settling into the chair opposite him. "That's why I married you, Elias. Not just for your potential, but for your heart." He reached across the desk, taking her hand. "And I married you because you saw me, truly saw me, when no one else would." He squeezed her hand. Our future, Celeste. It's only just beginning. His gaze swept over the bustling city, then settled back on her, full of promise. The past was a shadow he'd stepped out of. His present was vibrant, and his future, with Celeste by his side, stretched out, limitless and bright. He was no longer reacting to the world, he was shaping it. And he couldn't wait to see what they would build next. The story of Elias Thorne had just begun.